Madron is a civil parish and village in West Cornwall, England, United Kingdom. It is a large rural parish on the Penwith peninsula north of Penzance. It is bounded by the parishes of Sancreed and St Just to the west, by Zennor and Morvah to the north, by the sea in the parish of Paul in the south, and by the parishes of Gulval and Penzance to the east. Madron village is centered on an elevated site approximately 2 miles northwest of Penzance town centre. The main villages and hamlets are Tredinick, Lowinins, New Mill, New Bridge and Tregavra. The population was 1,466 at the 2001 census, rising to 1,591 at the 2011 census. The parish church is in the church town and is dedicated to Madron. The word Madron appears in Cornish and Welsh literature, Madron being the mother goddess, mother of Mabon. History. Evidence of early medieval habitation at Madron is in the form of 1 or 2 inscribed stones. One was found in the wall of the village church and has since been removed. The inscription consists of a cross and legible text, but its meaning is not clear. The other inscription was reported by R.A. Stuart McAllister in 1949 as being built into the end wall of the end aisle, west of the entrance door of the church, but has not been seen since. Elizabeth Oakeshire speculates that McAllister may have seen the inscription in another church, and misremembered its location. Langdon records 8 stone crosses in the parish, of which one is in the churchyard and one is at Hemore. Madron was recorded in the Domesday Book. It was within the manor of Alverton, an area that in the Anglo-Saxon and medieval period formed much of what is now the southern part of West Penwith. The church itself was once under the control of the Knights Hospitallers of Jerusalem and was known by the Cornish name of Llandith, a name which is still used in parts of the village today. Madron Well was, until the 18th century, the principal source of water for the nearby town of Penzance, and Madron Church was the mother church of Penzance. Admiral Lord Nelson. The news of the death of Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson following the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805 was received first in Britain by the arrival of HMS Pickle en route to Falmouth under the command of Lieutenant John Richards Lepinotier in Mounts Bay. It is believed a fishing vessel from Penzance passed the news to the shore, which was formally announced from the balcony of the Assembly Rooms in Chapel Street, Penzance. Since the mother church of Penzance was at Madron, the mayor of Penzance took up a procession which made its way to Madron, where a memorial service was held and a Nelson banner was paraded for the first time. On it was the epitaph, "Mourn for the brave, the immortal Nelson's gone. His last sea fighters fought, his work of glory done." Storms in the English Channel meant that Nelson's body did not arrive by sea in London until January 1806. However, subsequent literature on the Union Hotel and Madron Church makes no mention of these events, and it is not recorded in the borough records of the Royal Cornwall Gazette, the only Cornish newspaper at the time. An annual Trafalgar service commemorating the death of Nelson was started on the 27th of October 1946, when so many people attended that the service was relayed outside. These services continue to this day. The Trafalgar Fields housing development was so named to reinforce the links with Nelson. Penzance Workhouse, once within the parish, was the Penzance Union Workhouse. The Penzance Poor Law Union was formed on the 10th of June 1837, and the population that fell within the union at the time of the 1831 census was just under 40,000. The Penzance Union Workhouse was built in 1838. Designed by George Gilbert Scott and William by Nathan Moffat, it was intended to house 400 paupers and cost £6,050 to build. It was in use until 1948, when the National Health Service came into being. Madron today. Llandathi Hall, which opened in 1909, contains the community rooms and tea rooms where guests can stay the night and hosts many village events. It is here that Madron Parish Council holds the majority of its meetings, the other venue being Trifle School, near New Mill, as well as its St. Madron's Primary School, below the church in Madron. Madron Feast Week is from the first Sunday in Advent. The Western Hunt traditionally meets at Madron on Feast Monday and also in Boxing Day. The village has a garden of remembrance for the dead of both World Wars. Local government. For the purposes of local government, Madron elects its own parish council. Under the 1934 restructure of local government, the then Penzance Borough Council made representation to include the village of Madron within its boundaries, but due to strong local resistance this move was defeated. The nearby settlement of Heemore was included within the revised boundaries of the borough and remains part of the parish of Penzance to this day. Schools. Madron Daniels Endowed School was built by George Daniel in 1710. His family were lords of the manor of Orverton for part of the 17th century. The school is next to the parish church with a view over Penzance and Mountspey and has a cottage for the headmaster on site. The school was extended from the original 2 classrooms to its current size in the late 1960s. It has subsequently been renamed St Madron's Church of England School. Playing field. The village has a King George V playing field which is home to Madron Football Club. Previously it has been home to both Madron Cricket Club and the Penzance and Amp Newlyn Rugby Club 2nd 15. Buildings and gardens. Madron Well. The nearby Madron Well is an example of a Cornish Celtic sacred site, which is renowned for its healing properties. A May Day tradition, which was still being observed in 1879, was for many young folks to head from Penzance before sunrise to perform a ceremony. To learn the number of years they have to wait before they get married. 2 grass stems of straw, each about an inch long, were fastened together with a pin and dropped into the water. Any rising bubbles denote the number of years before they get married. The ceremony was no longer held on May Day, but on a Sunday, because the girls work during the week. A tradition at this site persists to this day whereby people attach pieces of rag to the nearby bushes as a symbol of appeasement to the spirits within the well site. According to the Cornishman newspaper, this tradition was no longer carried out in 1879. Until the 18th century it was the only source of water for Madron and Penzance. Madron Baptistry. A short distance away is the ruined well chapel, which has been dated to the 6th century, but is likely to have even earlier foundations. The building measures 7 meters by 5 meters and has no roof, and it is not known if it ever had a roof. Ivy and wild roses creep over the walls and ferns grow from between the granite blocks. It is a classical site for the nationally scarce Cornish money-wort. Spring water, from the same source as the original well, is fed into a stone basin in the southwestern corner. A low altar stone may be seen against the eastern wall, and stone seats line the walls. Trengwainton Garden. Trengwainton Garden, a National Trust property, has its closest village as Madron. Notable residents: Nessie Dunsmuir, poet; William Sidney Graham, poet and husband of Nessie Dunsmuir. A plaque in Fore Street commemorates him. Alfred Wallace, artist, died in Madron Workhouse. David Neil Jenkin, Cornish wrestling and judo champion, Great Britain Wrestling and British Judo Council representative, coach to the British wrestling team at the World Games, Den Haag, 1993. British Judo Association National Vets Under 78 Kilo Champion 1990-91. European Open and Middleweight Judo Champion. World Sambo Silver Medalist. Attended Madron School and Lescajik County Secondary. Penzance represented the University of Heidelberg at the German Student Judo Championships. Aachen, 1971. Son of Leonard and Poppy Jenkin.